Most people think weight loss is a simple math problem. Eat less, move more, and the body obeys. But if that were true, obesity wouldn't exist at scale, and Monday motivation would cure everything. The reality is much more interesting and much more biological. In the last few years, weekly injections called GLP-1 drugs have been labeled a miracle. Less hunger, better blood sugar control, and faster weight loss than most people have ever experienced. Some call it the end of obesity, others call it dangerous. But biology doesn't do miracles. Biology does trade-offs. Every time you override a system that took millions of years to evolve, you get a benefit, and you also get an invoice. Today we're going to explain what GLP-1 weight loss drugs actually do to the body, why they work so well, why they sometimes backfire, and what you can do to protect yourself if you ever take them or stop them. Welcome back to Fit Body Facts, the channel where we break down fitness, nutrition, and health to make it easier for everyone. The first thing you need to understand is why losing weight is so hard in the first place. Here's the truth. Obesity is not a moral failure. It's an evolutionary success story. For almost all of human history, the biggest threat wasn't overeating, it was starvation. The humans who survived were the ones who could store energy efficiently. If you were bad at storing fat, nature did not reward you, it would literally erase you. It was survival of the fittest. The more you could store, the longer you would live. So your biology is built for scarcity, but today we live in abundance. Your genes expect famine, but your environment delivers snacks, sweets, and whole meals in just one call through delivery apps. This mismatch is why weight loss often feels like swimming against a current you can't see. And that current is controlled by your brain. Deep in your brain sits the hypothalamus, often called the lizard brain, not because it's literally a lizard, but because it runs ancient survival programs: temperature, thirst, stress, and hunger. This part of your brain does not care about your summer body. It cares about survival, and it protects body weight like it's guarding a vault. Two key hormones help control this system: ghrelin and leptin. Ghrelin is the hunger signal. It's produced mainly in the stomach, and it rises when your stomach is empty. Think of ghrelin as your body's "feed me now" notification. When ghrelin goes up, appetite increases, food becomes more appealing, and your brain gets very persuasive. Leptin is the opposite. Leptin is produced by fat cells. It's basically a status report. We have energy stored, we're safe, you can stop eating. In a perfect system, more body fat means more leptin, and more leptin means less hunger. But in obesity, many people develop leptin resistance. It's like having a fire alarm that keeps going off until you start ignoring it. The brain stops responding properly to leptin's "we're full" message. So someone can have plenty of stored energy and still feel hungry. That's not weakness, that's wiring. Now add in insulin, because insulin is not just about diabetes, it's also about storage. Insulin helps move the glucose from our food into our cells and signals the body to store energy. When insulin levels are chronically high, often due to frequent high-calorie, high-sugar eating, fat storage becomes easier and fat burning becomes harder. And on top of all that, your brain is also influenced by dopamine, the reward chemical that makes sure foods feel exciting and worth it. That's why cravings can feel like a toxic reality show between these hormones and dopamine, and you never agreed to join but are forced to participate. If you enjoyed this breakdown, subscribe to Fit Body Facts for more science explained simply, and stay tuned for our next video. So where does GLP-1 fit into this? GLP-1 stands for glucagon-like peptide 1, and it's a hormone your body already produces naturally. It's released by intestinal cells after you eat, especially after carbohydrates and fats enter the gut. GLP-1 is part of a system called the incretin effect. Here's what that means in simple terms. When you drink sugar, your body reacts differently than when sugar is injected into your blood. If sugar hits your gut, The gut sends signals ahead of time to prepare the pancreas and the brain. GLP-1 is one of those signals. It does three major things. First, it prepares the pancreas to release insulin. Then it reduces your blood sugar. And finally, it slows stomach emptying, making you feel full longer. GLP-1 also signals the brain that you're satisfied, reducing appetite. So why not just use natural GLP-1? The problem is timing. Natural GLP-1 lasts only a few minutes before it is destroyed by enzymes. It's like trying to fill a bathtub with the drain fully open. That's why scientists had to engineer longer-lasting versions. And this is where the story gets funny, because the breakthrough didn't come from a corporate brainstorming in a boardroom. It came from a lizard. Yes, a real lizard. The Gila monster, which is a venomous desert lizard that eats only a few times a year. Imagine the ultimate intermittent faster. It basically lives on one meal every few weeks, energy. Scientists found that its venom contained a molecule similar to GLP-1 that resisted breakdown. The Gila monster wasn't trying to solve obesity, of course. It was just trying to survive in the desert. But humans looked at that biology and said,
Interesting. Can we borrow that, sir?
and that's how that molecule became the blueprint for GLP-1 based medications. Modern versions took it even further. Drugs like Ozempic, semaglutide, Wegovy, or Mounjaro were engineered to survive in the bloodstream for about a week. That's why they can be injected weekly. The result is powerful. Less hunger, fewer cravings, and reduced food noise, which is that constant mental chatter about eating. For many people, it feels like someone finally turned down the volume on their appetite, and that can be life-changing.
But remember, it all has an invoice. Let's talk about the consequences, because this is where the conversation gets messy online. First, digestive effects. GLP-1 drugs slow stomach emptying. That's part of why they work. But if you slow digestion too much, you can get nausea, bloating, reflux, constipation, or that heavy, food just sits there feeling. Many people manage this with dose adjustments and time, but some people still find it uncomfortable, especially when doses increase quickly. Second, there's a topic almost nobody respects enough: muscle loss. Rapid weight loss, no matter how you do it, usually causes loss of both fat and lean mass. And on GLP-1 drugs, appetite suppression can make protein intake drop without people realizing. If you're eating less overall, protein is often the first thing to get cut. Training can also suffer if you feel low energy or nauseated. But muscle is your metabolic engine. It helps you handle carbohydrates, it supports insulin sensitivity, it protects mobility as you age, and it's strongly linked to long-term health. Lose too much muscle, and you may end up with a smaller metabolic engine, meaning you burn fewer calories at rest. That makes future weight regain more likely. Third, some people report changes in mood and motivation. Many users say they feel calmer around food, less impulsive, and more stable. That can be a huge benefit, especially for people with binge eating tendencies. But a smaller group describes something else: a muted reward response, lower excitement, less drive. It doesn't happen to everyone, but it's important enough to pay attention to because health isn't just weight. It's also how you feel in your own brain. Now the biggest question: what happens when you stop? Will the weight come back? For many people, yes, unless they have a real strategy. Not because they failed, but because biology rebounds. When GLP-1 signaling drops, hunger signals can return strongly. Ghrelin can rise, cravings can reappear, and appetite can feel louder than before. At the same time, satiety signals don't always return instantly to normal. So you can get a period where hunger is high and fullness is weaker. Add in the muscle issue. If you lost some lean mass during weight loss, your resting energy expenditure may be lower. So when appetite returns, the body is primed to regain. And here's the brutal part: fat often returns faster than muscle. That's why rebounds feel unfair. So what's the smarter approach? If GLP-1 drugs are a tool, The goal is to use the tool while protecting your biology. That means a few non-negotiables. First, you need a protein floor. A minimum protein target helps preserve muscle when appetite is low. Second, strength training should become essential. Even 2 sessions per week can signal the body to hold on to lean mass. Third, transitions matter. If someone stops abruptly, appetite can rebound harder. A gradual taper, guided by a clinician, can help the body recalibrate. Fourth, fibers and food volume become your best friends. As chemical satiety fades, you can replace some of it with mechanical fullness. High-fiber, high-volume foods that stretch the stomach and signal fullness naturally. Fifth, monitor your mental state. If motivation drops or emotional tone changes, it's worth discussing. Here's the bottom line. GLP-1 medications can be powerful and, for many people, beneficial. They can reduce disease risk and help people escape cycles that lasted for years. But they are not magic, and they are not free. They come with trade-offs: digestive changes, muscle loss risk, possible mood effects, and rebound physiology if stopped without a plan. And the best outcomes happen when these tools are paired with strategy: protein, strength training, smart transitions, fiber, and self-monitoring.